Good morning. Thank you for coming today. This class, as you guys are aware, is on collaborative approaches to problem resolution, and it's part of our longer series on critical thinking skill sets. Now, every person who is part of this class is also part of a team project, and that project is on developing a sustainability model for the company and developing a plan for executing that sustainability model. This is quite different for this company. Normally things in this company have been driven in a very, very tops-down approach. The executive decides what we do. She decides across product, she decides across market, she decides across customer. And the company pretty well follows that direction. A team-based approach is quite different. And so for that reason, we're taking the time also to learn about the critical thinking and the team-based approaches that are required to do this different method of resolving problems. Now, what are the kind of skills we'll want to learn? As we see, the first thing we dove into was data sources, both primary data and secondary data. And at that point, we asked around the room, and we found out that many of you already work very extensively with data. So we have marketing representatives here, we have manufacturing representatives here, and we have finance representatives here, all who work very intensely with data and work with the graphics associated with that data and the analytics. The second type of learning that we'll want is on the critical thinking skills. That's where we're at today. In addition to the team-based problem resolutions, we'll also want to take a look at how we ask the right questions. We'll want to take a look at how we do proper brainstorming. And we'll want to take a look at how we organize this information that we collect through these processes, and how we hone that down to a few potential solutions to problems. Now, if I asked here, do many of you have some skill sets that already apply? I think I'll find the answers are very true. So we know we have some skills on TOC and Six Sigma, and we also have the business case analysis skill sets. These will prove very, very important for being able to drop the critical thinking skills as well. The third set of skills we're looking at is on language and communication. Now, why would language and communication be part of a class on business skills? Any thoughts? Okay, so a team-based approach is very heavily dependent on the language skills. It's very heavily dependent on the dynamics that take place within the team. That's both an informal dynamic and it is a formal dynamic. It includes lots and lots of communication across the entire team and between different team members. And so at the same point where we build a different model for how we're going to deal with the sustainability question, we also want to make sure that we have the language and communication tools in place across the team approaches, across critical thinking approaches, and across sustainability. Secondly, let me ask and find out about people's first languages. And when I do that, I'm going to find people actually speak English as a first language. Quite a few people here speak Japanese as a first language. Korean is spoken by one or two people as a first language. Mandarin as a first language. Hakka as a first language. Hokkien, Cantonese are all first languages. Indonesian is a first language. Vietnamese is a first language. So in fact, we're represented by people from all across Asia. We speak a variety of languages, and English is not always the first one. And secondly is if we were to ask, when did you actually learn English? Okay, once again, some people learned it as their first language. It's the first language they know. Several people will say it's the second language they know. We'll find in the room, though, that there are various people who have learned English as their fourth language or their fifth language. Now, what that means is we have different skill sets in using English, and we're also used to using English in different settings. For some people, it's a very specific language used just for a handful of settings. For other people, it's their go-to language for virtually every subject. If we go into a team structure with that sort of variation in language skill sets, usually what we'll find is that the native speakers tend to dominate the conversation. And that's not what we want. We want a very even distribution. We want everyone participating. That's the way the team will operate best. So as we build the business skill, we also want to build the language skills. So what are the types of language skills that we're going to build? Okay, well the first we went through over these last couple of days where we started looking at the data sources. We will want to look at both the reading and the listening skills that are required for doing our basic research. And that research will be both in primary and secondary data sources. Teams are data informed, okay? They are data driven. We model the data, we look at the data, we describe the data. This requires communication skills. The second basket of skills that we have concern the team dynamics. As I said earlier, the communication is critical to making sure that the team can operate correctly. This is a listening exercise, it is a reading exercise, a writing exercise, and a speaking exercise. It includes both the formal communications and the formal processes that will drive as a team. It also includes the informal processes. We'll want to make sure that the communications are still there to drive all of that. The third major driver is executives, okay? And for executives, we need lots of listening skills, we need writing skills, and we need speaking skills. We will communicate to the executive, and as I said earlier, the executive will not be directly involved in this team structure, but at the same time, she reserves the right to review and approve the process at key milestone dates. So we'll want to prepare what we need for her to make sure she understands where we're at. We'll want to listen to her responses, and we in turn will want to be able to respond back. Now, it's also important to us that we engage her in this, and so we'll want to communicate to her our interest level and how she will be involved in the process as well. And that's important for the next step, the fourth step. This fourth step is also a process of listening, speaking, and writing. And this is where we communicate out to our peers in the company, the people not involved in this project. We let them know about sustainability. We help them understand their role in the process, and we bring their information back to the team and their concerns back to the team to make sure we can address any issues that they may have. Okay, now that's for the project as a whole, and I hope it's a reasonable framework. Are there any questions or things that you'd like to go through about that? Now, for this class, we also have some key goals in mind, and so we've outlined two different goals that we would like to drive here in this class. The first is to build, share, and critique a team-driven critical thinking model to address a specific question. So once again, the thing that we will be doing, building, sharing, and critiquing a team-driven critical thinking model to address a specific question. That'll be done both in writing and will be done in speaking. Each of you is going to speak as part of this class. The second thing we're going to do is demonstrate fluency in the language, in the vocabulary of teamwork, critical thinking, and sustainability. Okay, is it understood fairly well what we're trying to do with today's lesson?